and welcome back to Coffee and Caracas. I'm your host, Joe. If you're new to the show, just want to welcome you here and let you know this is a weekly podcast where we sit around the coffee table and discuss stories of mysticism, the supernatural, and what lies in the beyond. So if this is something that interests you, please stick around, and I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you. Hi, and welcome back. If you participated in last week's episode, we did discuss Brujeria. So, like I told you last week, this is going to be at least a 2-part episode. Hopefully I can discuss everything I want to discuss in this episode. If not, it might turn to 3 parts. Just letting you know, putting it out there, be prepared. So, like I said last week, Brujeria comes in different forms. People usually do it to get back at another person or, try to gain something. My belief is that in order for Brujeria to work, the person who is doing it, not necessarily the witch themselves, but the person who wants it done has to have the belief that it's going to work in order for it to work. If you are from, the RGV area, maybe even just Mexican descent. I mean, I've never been to California, but I'm pretty sure it's practiced over there too, right? The art of being, limpiar con un huevo. So the way that works, if you don't have an idea what I'm talking about, una limpia is a cleaning, and el huevo, it's an egg. The person has to have a strong belief that the egg is going to cure whatever is causing an ailment. For example, one time, I had a headache, and it's just, sorry for the long pause there, but there are so many numerous stories for me to talk about there. So many different times that it has happened. It's not my belief per se. I know that it's I participated with it, but the person who has usually instigated the limpia has been my grandmother. And like I've mentioned, my grandmother is a real strong believer in these things, and if that's gonna make her happy, I go along with it, right? So let's say I've had a headache and I come home and she's like, oh, te hicieron ojo. Ojo is, the evil eye, and I mentioned that last week, the evil eye was, they look at you wrong. It's because, you're wearing a really nice shirt, or because, your hair looks so good that day, or X, Y, and Z reasons, right? Someone looks at you a little too funny, a little too hard, a little too strong, and their aura, I guess, stays with you. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it causes you discomfort. So in order for you to for it to go away, the person who is, and I would say with the ojo, the person who's having it done also has to have some sort of belief in it. But I don't know. I've seen it done to dogs. I've seen it done to little kids who are 1 or 2 years old. What does a 2-year-old really know about a limpia, right? But if their parent believes in it, is it their parent's belief that is so strong that it does work in curing this child of their ailments? So the way the ojo works, you get the egg, you pray over the person, and you sweep the egg over the body. I think 3 times, to be honest with you. And you're praying. I do believe it's usually the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer, that one. And as they're praying over you, they're sweeping the egg. And when they finish, they go take the egg, they put it in a cup of water, not with the shell. They crack the egg into a cup of water, and they let it sit for, I don't know how long it has to sit for, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if it's right away or what it is. I'm not sure if it's right away or what it is, but I do know that they go ahead and they look into the yolk, and if the yolk looks like it has an eye, then therefore you had ojo. At least that's what I understood of how it works. If the yolk has an eye, that means you have ojo, you know, which I'm like, okay, I can totally, you know, see that and get behind that, you know, sure. I mean, it makes sense if, you know, it has to resemble the image, right? So again, I mentioned last week that, you know, there are different ways to, you know, do a limpia. Once with the egg, once with, you know, some hierbas, you know, some with like some rocks and some limones, and there's different ways, right? And I honestly believe comes from the person. So like I said last week, I was going to talk about brujeria in Mexico. And I'm not talking about, you know, across the border in Matamoros. I'm talking about like deep in Mexico. You know, we're going to like Sonora, to, you know, Mexico City, you know, places that are deep in there. Sorry, I'm not really good with my Mexican geography. If I knew Mexico better, I probably would name more cities. But, you know, those are two of the names that come to mind. And the reason they come to mind because when I was looking into brujeria and doing my little research, those were the places that came up with the most in terms of, you know, popularity with brujeria. I mean, and why not, right? I mean, you have people in like Mexico City who want to, you know, get on top. They want success and fortune, and brujeria can offer that, you know. And I'm not trying to promote it. I'm just saying that, yeah, they offer it. From what I've read, they offer candles for success, candles for an estranged lover, candles for everything, honestly, you know. They offer bars of soap for impotence. They offer, you know, oils, possum oils for, you know, healing. And you think, well, isn't that a little strange? Hey, I mean, whatever floats your boat. If it works for you, good, right? If you're from this area, from the Brownsville area, maybe you've gone to a yerberia. I haven't gone to a yerberia, at least I don't recall that I have. But I've passed by them. You know, they're usually downtown. And from what I've seen in their windows, they have often, like, you know, saints and statues, and, you know, they have, you know, little herbs and crystals, and you think, oh, okay, well, you know, what does one have to do with the other? And honestly, often it's just, you know, it's brujeria, from what I've understood, comes from mixing, you know, the religion of Catholicism with a little bit of, you know, I guess you could say, voodoo of sorts. And I don't want to say voodoo because there is a type of brujeria that does involve voodoo. So it's not voodoo. It's Catholicism mixed with, like, you know, the Aztec culture or Mayan culture, and it has a little bit of, like, African, you know, religious beliefs, and it's tied in, and the saints come from, you know, because, well, Catholics believe in saints, and you pray to the saints, you know, but to intercede for you, and it combines, okay? So the reason, like I said, I don't want to say voodoo because there is a religion called Palo Mayombe, okay? I'm not too, you know, versed in this religion. And it is a religion, okay? It's not just you know, a practice. It's an actual religion that people do believe in. So Palo Mayombe is sort of a mixture of Santeria and Haitian voodoo, okay? That's what I've come across in, you know, my research. If I am mistaken, please, you know, comment down below, send me an email, let me know. I would like to know if you have more information on this. So Palo Mayombe takes Haitian voodoo, takes, you know, the Santeria, and if you know what Santeria is, we're gonna get into that if you're not aware of it, you know, and mixes them together, and it creates something, you know, that these people believe in. And the thing is with Palo Mayombe, because like I said, it is a religion, they do have a deity that they worship, you know. So Santeria also has, I guess you could say, has their own deities that they worship, and but it's more, it's less Haitian voodoo, okay? It's the African religious, you know, aspect with your Catholic religion aspect, you know, mixed together. But they also, you know, work with bones, and usually just animal bones, okay? And it's usually like goats and chickens, okay? I mean, I hopefully not dogs and cats, but I mean, hey, you know, it's their type of religion. And again, Santeria is a type of religion, and it's usually practiced in Cuba. You know, it's a Cuban-esque, it's a Cuban, you know, based religion. And brujeria is just a practice, you know, it's just the practice of white and black magic. And I say white magic because the cleansing of with the huevo, you know, I would consider that white magic. You know, you're doing something with a natural element, and you're, you know, taking away, whether it's a pain, an ailment, whatever it is that's, you know, bothering this person, and you're making them better. But they do dabble in black magic too. So I bring this up because in Sonora there is a huge flea market of sorts, okay? So if you've ever been to the 77 flea market and you're like, that's pretty big, this is like 3 times the size of that. And there's a huge area of that flea market, of, you know, just a mercado, más bien, that has stall after stall after stall of just you know, puestos de brujeria, you know, the hierberias. And you go to someone and you're like, oh, quiero, you know, un jabón or a bar of soap to cleanse away the negative energy from my ex-lover, or, you know, I want a candle for success. And I mean, you ask for it, they have it, okay? So you go there, and I mean, it's a business, okay? And I did write something down, so I'm just gonna read it real quick. Like I said, I did a little bit of research on this, you know, just to have a better idea of what I was gonna talk about. So there's this book called Witchcraft and Welfare, Spiritual Capital, and the Business of Magic in Modern Puerto Rico, okay? And in this book, there's a little part where they discuss brujeria, and that it may have started back in like the 1500s with this bishop from Puerto Rico named Nicolas Ramos. And this bishop told the people that there's black brujos, and by brujos he meant, you know, men and women who engage with the devil, and they would turn into a goat. They would shift into a goat, and would curse at God, at the Santa Maria and the sacraments of the Holy Church. And, you know, he put that out there, and so people started, you know, looking into it, and, you know, curious minds, they start, you know, researching, I guess, and asking questions as who practices this and who practices that, and they get an idea of what it is, right? So brujeria has no particular god figure, okay? Where Santeria, they worship and believe in multiple deities, okay? And I say that because they do worship the Santa Muerte. They worship, you know, I honestly can't remember the name of this. He's a narco, you know, big narco, and they use him as a saint, of course. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. If I do remember, I'll probably post about it on Instagram. For right now, for the life of me, I can't think of the name. But, you know, they make these people their deities. They're people who intercede for them and take care of them, and they go ahead and you know, pray to them, because and again, I said, you know, with Santeria they do use bones of animals. With Palomayombe, they also use human remains as well. So you do have a lot of grave diggers, and, you know, again, that's different. That's a horse of a different color, and we'll get into that maybe in a different episode entirely, you know. I mean, because there is a lot of information on that, except I just didn't delve too deep into it, just because it was a lot of information to take in. But with what I've read, you know, brujeria is your typical witchcraft. You know, they do curses on ex-lovers and all this other stuff, right? So, you know, you have to think to yourself, okay, well, is it a is it a business? Yeah, it's a hot business in Mexico. I mean, anywhere really. I mean, I know here in the Valley, it's a hot business too. But in Mexico, you have a lot of people who are poor and they want to get more out of life. So yeah, they go to a bruja or brujo and they ask, hey, I need this candle for success. I need this, I need that. You know, how I'm problems with my husband, with my wife, or, you know, I'm not making enough money at work. Like, I need this, you know, I need something. So they go to them, and yeah, easy money, you know. Oh, here's this green candle, light it, and you're gonna get money. You know, but you gotta say these prayers. And you go back, let's say in a week or two, 3 weeks, a month, it's not working. It's because you're not believing enough. You're not putting your faith into this. Which is why I say, I do believe a person's personal faith in how something will work changes, you know, how well this object, this spirit, this, you know, practice works for them. There is such a idea in counseling called actualization, where, you know, if you say enough affirmations to yourself and you believe that it's going to happen, you make you do the steps that it takes to make, you know, this actualize, and it happens. You know, I had a professor who told me that 1 year she told herself that she wanted to earn 100,000 in 1 year, and she did everything she could to earn the 100,000, and at the end of the year she actualized it. You know, she earned the 100,000. I mean, maybe I don't believe hard enough. I haven't earned 100,000, and I mean, I would really like 100,000. I mean, we all would, right? You know, a little bit of money goes a long way. Sometimes pays off a few bills. But yeah, I mean, so I want to say it's the same principle. If you believe in it, you can actualize it, and it's going to happen. The faith in the person has to back up the actions. You know, so, you know, brujeria, like I said, you know, there's a hot market for it. Herberias here locally. If you've seen them, you know, maybe you've even gone to the mall. There's sometimes people that selling like pulseras or bracelets, you know, with like charms and enchantments, and, you know, if you wear this, it's gonna, you know, make you more successful. It's gonna find you the right lover, and it's gonna bring love to you, and it's gonna make you happy. And I mean, hey, I don't know if it works or not. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, I mean, you know, it doesn't hurt to believe. It doesn't hurt to have a little belief in something. So, like I said, you know, there's different components of West African, you know, culture, as well as, you know, Catholicism, and, you know, that bring all this together and create the practice of brujeria. And it may not interest everyone, and that's fine. I mean, brujeria is not, it's not a topic that's, you know, going to be interesting to most, but to me it's interesting, you know, how it works, and how they're able to make, you know, money off of it, and, you know, the way people do believe in it. I mean, like I tell you, my grandma has this belief that if you feel sick, they cierra un ojo, and the only cure is going to be el huevo, you know. And I don't take that away from her. I know that one time I got scared by I think a dog, or I don't know what it was, and oh no, necesitas que te hagan una limpia del susto. And so they call the lady to come, the una limpia del susto, and they grab some hierbas and, you know, across the face and across the body, and here you go. After like 3 nights, you're cured. Was it cured? I don't think so. I mean, I still have anxiety to this day. So, I mean, I don't know if that has to do with it at all, right? But, I mean, I do say a lot of it has to do with your beliefs, you know? Tonight's coffee is this really delicious cinnamon blend that I found at HEB. I think it's called the San Antonio blend. Made my own cold brew tonight. So anyways, my grandma has his beliefs, and, you know, we sit around the table and we talk about brujeria, and, you know, like I told you 2 episodes ago, my grandpa Chapa really believed in brujas and, you know, lechuzas and all this, and it kind of goes together, you know. And that's what I want to get into on the first episode with the Brujas, because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to understand, and, you know, just evaluate. But Brujas, you know, Brujeria, I mean, lechuzas, it's a lot to take in, you know. And Brujeria, like I told you, there is so much of it, you know. Like I told you, there's different countries practice different things, you know. Like I said, in Cuba, the main thing they practice there is Santeria. And then in Cuba too, okay, because Palo Mayombe also comes from Cuba, but it's like, you know, you have your the north and the south, and the north practices, you know, Santeria, but the south practices the dark stuff, Palo Mayombe, and that's, Palo Mayombe is dark, you know, it's some gritty stuff. I kind of want to do an episode in the future on Palo Mayombe in regards to a true crime story that happened locally. Stay tuned to the Instagram, and I'll get back to you with a date on that, okay? So that was our talk today on Brujeria. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, please do so now. Hit the notification bell so you can, you know, stay tuned when we're posting videos. Follow us on Instagram at GalacasPod, and send us an email at galacaspod@gmail.com. Comment down below what you think, and, you know, just follow and like and subscribe, okay? Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a great night. Thanks.